As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Well, I got to bounce back and go right to the XFL Arlington Renegades. Getting
Okay, were you all in?
Yeah, I watched. I was back and forth. I watched a big portion of it though.
I had Big 12 basketball main screen, Arlington Renegades on the iPad.
Yeah,
I'll say this, man. I loved the broadcast. That was awesome. I thought they did a great job.
I was going to mention that it's interesting. Whenever you can hear the play call going in, you can hear the quarterback in the huddle. I like that. I think it just gives you a little bit of perspective into what's going on. I also don't think that they should just overwhelm us with that. Just a touch of it here and there is cool. And maybe even you just kind of limit it until after a successful play and you go back and catch the review or something. But it's cool. I think it offers a little bit of insight in there. And, having the play-by-play call, those guys able to kind of explain what's going on. It's pretty cool.
I liked it. How about our buddy Cole Kublik, like just getting all the way up in there after scores and stuff? I loved it. He was like, because he can go on the field and like grab those guys. I was like, get in there, Cole. And he was not being shy about it. I loved it.
I can you imagine? They should get like an Olympic sprinter that can like chase guys down and have the microphone as they're running downfield. What do you think? How you doing? It'd be great. It's cool though. I thought the coverage was awesome. The fact that it's on ABC, like their TV deal, that's the most critical factor. You have to have a good TV deal, and the fact that they locked one in that's really solid. I think it's got a chance to help the league. Now, is it going to flourish? Is it going to make a ton of money? Is it ever going to overtake the NFL? I don't think so, but the first thing you got to have is some type of staying power, right? And they've at least got that to maybe keep this thing going long enough to get a little bit of foothold.
And this is going to sound weird, but being able to hear the play calls for me and then having McElroy there, because I mean, the guy played quarterback at a really high level. Now, not a Hall of Fame or anything like that, but the dude knows what he's talking about when it comes to playing quarterback. To hear him explaining what the concepts were going to, it made it feel very professional.
Yeah.
Right. Just hearing like me hearing 300 Jet and being like, oh my God, I haven't heard 300 Jet in a long time. Like stuff like that. It was, I don't know. It made it feel, it didn't make it feel like semi-pro. It felt very professional. The broadcast was really crisp. It was really well done. Like I thought, the Renegades offense needs some work. There's no doubt. That defense bailed their ass out in that second half, and they had themselves a half, man. Couple pick sixes. You kidding me?
Couple pick sixes. Furious comeback there. Yeah, and I agree with the broadcast. It kind of offsets if you were just to watch the XFL and you didn't have some of the ABC, the commentary, and like being able to explain what's happening, like you said, makes it feel real professional. Like whenever you see some of the other rule set, people may just scoff at it as, this isn't real football, right? Look how they're doing the kickoffs. Look at these 2-point conversions and 4th and 15 try, which all of these things are things that the NFL has tinkered with and actually held votes on whether or not they want to implement. So, but you're right. I think there's a risk with some of these drastic differences in rules of people not maybe giving it the credit that it deserves.
Yeah, it just I liked it. Right. Any time I can get a pick six, thick six, sign me up. And it was cool to see Jeff Badette have a big game for the Vipers. It was cool that Jordan Smallwood had that big catch down the sideline for the Renegades. So there was some OU flavor in there, and that's always fun. But the real question is, Vegas scores the touchdown late, decides to go for 2 in the tie. Ted, you got to go for 3 in the win there from the 10. Come on, what are they doing?
I don't know. It's almost easier from the 10, isn't it?
It expands the field a little more. It makes you defend a little more space.
You defend some space, and from that distance, you can actually maybe check it down and have a chance to run for it. Yeah, that was interesting, but like, it's also, I don't know. What do you think about this? If they would have gone for the 3 and gotten the win, how do you think that's viewed? Is it viewed as that's amazing that you can do it, or do a lot of people like totally shut that off as being able, you know what I'm saying?
I think it would have been viewed positively. I think it would have been like, oh, that's kind of cool. You have a chance to go to like get a 3-point conversion and win the game. That's one hell of a roll of the dice. I think that would have been them going for 2 in the tie and not getting it was not a huge talking point, right? After the game. If they would have gone for 3, converted it, and won the game, a bunch of people would be talking about like, hey, this is kind of cool. Look at what happened in the XFL. I think it would have been a good thing. Now,
they were talking about the point spread the whole time too, which was cool. And they had it posted up there on the score ticker.
Yeah. The gambling's a very real part of what they're trying to do from a broadcast perspective.
The more people that gamble on it, the more people that watch it. There you go.
Yeah. So I would say from everything I could tell overall, like that was the first XFL game of this new version of the league. And I was pretty impressed with how, and also the game was quick, man, which that's it. That in my book, that's a really good thing. So I liked everything about it. You know, yeah, I want the best players in the world playing football. There's no doubt. Like that's why I watch the NFL. But I thought overall pretty impressive first go round for this version of the XFL.
Yep, I like it, and I'll say it again. There's a bunch of really good football players out there that are not on rosters. Obviously, there's a difference between the NFL roster and the XFL, right? But these aren't weekend warriors. These are legitimate, top of their field defense, Division I football players for the most part, and some smaller school guys for sure. But these are guys that have had opportunities in the NFL. Some of them have played for a long time in the NFL. Other guys just can't get over the hump to get on a roster. So they're good football players for sure.
Yep. All right. Who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Oh, so brutal. OU hoops. My goodness. Is it that? Well, first of all, I wanted to go with this. I thought about going with this, and I hope you're not one of these people. The group of people that think that DK Metcalf thing is real.
That video, this is the thing about DK Metcalf. He's such a physical freak that you can believe that it's real almost.
Right.
But it's like the Tom Brady stuff.
Yes.
Right. It seems like he just hired Tom Brady's production team.
Right.
But he's such a physical freak that it makes you think it could be real.
The amount of legitimate people that think he casually has a 72-inch vertical to one arm a ball, just hanging out on a field, is crazy to me.
Whoever made the video, whoever edited
it looks great.
Yes, whoever did that, fantastic work.
It looks great.
Because it was all over Twitter.
You're right that if it's anyone else, it's a flat out fake. But he's such a freak that there's a bunch that still think it's real, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting. So back to the original OU hoops. Brutal.
Pain. The drought to end regulation. Pain. Now, got to the free throw line some at the end of regulation. Missed some important free throws. But Sherfield's shot to send it to OT was awesome. What an individual play. The scramble of that entire sequence.
Kind of like a double clutch three. That was awesome.
You blow the layup. Somehow Hill comes out with it, gets it out. Sherfield makes something happen, sends it to overtime. But in overtime, just some brutal turnovers, man. It still had a chance at the rim.
I
right
know.
there to send it to double overtime. Poor Sam Godwin. Oh,
Such a hard game to watch. You know, that streak there that you talked about at the end of regulation, whenever who was it that hit the 2 threes for Texas there that just woke that place up? Probably like 3 minutes to go or 4 minutes to go. I
Jabari
think,
Rice had himself a night.
man, that place was bumping in there. But man, I hate that. Like this team it doesn't like they're not even on the. They're nowhere to be found on the bracketology right now, which record wise you understand, but they're they're not that bad. Oh my gosh, they're so close to being a solid tournament team. I hate it for those guys, man, to fight that much and against some of the best teams in the country and just come up barely short. It's brutal.
Yeah. Didn't help. What's the best way to put it? I strongly disagreed with Tanner Groves' fifth foul.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I thought that was a flop.
Well,
And
yeah,
who knows how the end of that game ends up working out if he's available for the Sooners, because he was actually doing some good things in that game. But they've lost so many close games.
it's
Like
crazy. Yeah, painful.
I saw quite a bit of like we went through football season with all the the 3-point losses, and now it's like basketball season's the exact same thing.
It's tough, man. I hate it for those guys to fight, scrap, claw that hard, and to just continually come up that short. But I don't know, to go into their house, number 6 team in the country, and take them to the wire like that, force overtime. It tough to do, but to hang around and fight the way that they did, I thought it was impressive.
I agree, but also like at the end of regulation, hit some shots, guys. I know it sounds simple, but first of all, get some quality shots, take good shots, take care of the basket, value the basketball, and don't go 8 minutes. What was it? 8 minutes without a field goal.
That's become a staple in OU games that there's going to be a long stretch without a basket.
That just shouldn't happen.
No. It's tough.
Man. All right, let's finish up with my winner and loser. But first,
John Vance Auto Group has been serving Oklahomans for 40 years. Family owned and operated, and they got 9 full service dealerships in Woodward, Miami, and Guthrie. No matter what your vehicle needs are, John Vance Auto Group has you covered. They carry domestic brands: Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Wagoneer. John Vance Auto Group's goal is to give unequaled service and to exceed customers' expectations in every way, which is why they have their lifetime loyalty program. And here's how it works. You buy a new or used car from them, all you have to do is get all of the manufactured recommended maintenance done at the Vance dealership. And if something goes wrong with the components of your engine, transmission, drive, axle, or transfer unit, they will cover the repair costs. It's a great deal. You can browse their entire inventory or find the John Vance dealership near you at vanceautogroup.com.
And First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. People, make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information. All right, for my winner of the weekend, thought about going with Kansas basketball. You talk about a tale of two halves. My goodness, Baylor came out on fire. Cryer, Flagler, George, just flamethrowers shooting the basketball. But got to give Kansas some credit, man. Weathered the storm and then absolutely blew Baylor's doors off in the second half there at Allen Fieldhouse. You can say what you want about the refs in that building. Hey, they ain't making a 55-26 difference in that second half. That's what it was, 55-26 in the second half there between those teams. Ted, Bill Self, they may not be the deepest squad. They may not be as deep as they were a year ago. That's a damn good basketball team, and that was impressive. That second half, I was sitting there going, oh my God, like they beat the hell out of Baylor in that second half.
That's been fairly common for them this year. Struggle out of the gate a little bit, maybe go down, sometimes even go down big, and then really put it together as the game unfolds there. And that's been another thing with Kansas teams recently. Get better and better as the season rolls on and kind of hit their peak right there towards the end of the regular season as you start to get into some of the conference championship games and then the tournament.
Yeah. I just trust them more than any other team in the Big 12 because Bill Self has done it time and time again. So we'll see, but it should be a fun finish to Big 12 basketball. Just wish OU was in the picture, man.
No.
Just like anywhere like relatively close to the picture. Dead last. But my winner of the weekend, Mac McClung. Full disclosure, I had zero interest in watching Mac McClung in the dunk contest. And I remember his dunks when he was in high school. I covered a bunch of those games when he was at Tech, right? Because I got to talk about him on my Big 12 show. Like, I've watched him play a lot. But sue me, I wanted to see the star players in the NBA participate in the dunk contest. I want to see Zion. I want to see Ja Morant. Like, those are the guys I want to see. But Mac McClung changed my mind real quick, Ted.
Crazy.
Real quick.
Yeah.
What a damn show that dude put on. How cool was that, man?
Super impressive. And what I loved about it, it was just to the point. Here's what I don't know. I'm a slam dunk contest enthusiast. I watched them when I was young. Me and a friend had basically every slam dunk contest ever like recorded on VHS tapes and knew what happened in all of them. And all I care about, I don't care about a damn cupcake. I don't care about what you're wearing. I don't care about you driving a car out on the floor. I want to see how high you can jump. That's it. Like, take everything else away and let's see who's got some real hops. And that's what it was. There was no gimmicks there. It was just straight up getting up off the floor. Now, I will say something needs to be done about the old basketball in the back of the shoulders thing. It's cheating. Right? We gotta change that rule. But right now, other than that, I guess I don't have much of a problem with it. But he was spectacular.
Ted Lehman, unimpressed with Mac McClung jumping over two human beings and tapping it off the glass.
No, you know what they do? They use it as like they push off of the ball to get more air and then grab it. That's why they're setting it on their shoulders instead of just like holding it in the air like this.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I say that that's cheating. It's still like you got to fly to be able to do that. I understand, but they're getting a little extra push. It's like jumping off of like a pommel horse or whatever.
Did you ever participate in a dunk contest?
Not like an official one, just like one at Fort Gibson High School.
I could have sworn there was like an urban legend that you won a dunk contest in cowboy boots at some point. I could have swear I heard that story from someone.
No, I dunked a mini ball from the free throw line though.
I believe it, dude. People.
I'll just tell you right now, and that I was a sophomore because I was as tall as I am now whenever I was a sophomore, and I was like 205 pounds. I could fly. Like that's all I cared about was how good could I dunk. But the heavier I got, the more difficult it became to pull off the same maneuvers.
Yeah, no, believe me, totally know what you're talking about there. But as far as Mac McClung in the dunk contest, right? That dude put on a damn show. And I don't really care that he's been a G League guy and he's only on a two-way and it like just happened right there at Philly. But I really think it's one of the greatest dunk contest displays we've ever seen. And there are a couple of reasons why. He's a small white guy. You just don't expect a small white guy to be able to do that stuff. Like, let's just be real. That's just the truth. So there was a certain wow factor because of that, right? But the thing that made it, for me, made it one of the best I've seen, I think he made every dunk on the first try.
Yeah. Critical.
Which is like, so the wow factor was like, oh my God. And it was every single time. So there was never, oh, we missed it. Okay, try again. It never happened. So it was incredible.
Yeah.
Now, was it Vince Carter? No. But it was, I feel like it's as good as we've seen in a while. It's the most, like the Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, like back and forth ones where those guys are insane.
That dunk contest does not get talked about. It's like 10 of the greatest dunks of all time in that dunk contest.
But
nuts.
But just the way McClung looks and him getting it on the first try, you're just like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, I heard this kid maybe has something, and then it's just like, oh my, yeah. You can never recreate that moment if you don't nail the dunks because no one knows exactly what's coming, right? And it's just, yeah, it was awesome. Really cool.
It had to be one of the coolest nights of his life.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Because all the best players in the NBA down there on the court just losing it, watching his dunks. Like Dr. J handing him the trophy. Like the guy's played in like 2 NBA games in his career.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And it had to be the best. It had to be a surreal experience for him. Here's
what's crazy. You know, he's going to be a household name after that, right? That's what happens. It won't shock me if he makes a roster. They want people that want to come out and see well-known names. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even as weird as that may sound, like something like that may end up getting him a spot on a roster quicker, or, you know, maybe if he was never going to do it like that, that's something that you got in your back pocket that not a lot of other people do.
Dude did a 540. It was pretty sweet.
And then kept going after he finished the dunk. He did a full another spin before he hit the ground.
It was sweet. I do wonder, like, him doing what he just did, what type of effect that has on big name guys. I don't know how many NBA stars want to enter the dunk contest and then lose to Mac McClung. Like, I don't know if that's something they would have signed up for, but hey, like, that was awesome. That's the most fun I've had watching a dunk contest in a while. And I basically base it off the players' reactions, and all those dudes were going insane.
Yeah. Whenever you clear the benches and you get everyone walking around out there on the floor, that's whenever you know you've done something. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. For my loser of the weekend, I thought about going with any OKC Thunder haters. A lot of Thunder content. A lot of Thunder love coming out of All-Star Weekend there in Salt Lake. Ted, we had Giddey and Jalen Williams in the Rising Stars game. Shea sitting courtside. Now, we're recording this before the All-Star game on Sunday night. I'm sure Shea's going to have a nice performance in that one. But really, Giddey's jacket, the coat, the fur coat. And
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No.
Pull it up on Twitter right now. I need your unfiltered reaction to Giddey's, the kid's, his fit walking into the Rising Stars game was top notch. I believe he called it the boldest thing he's ever wore. So that's probably all you need to know before you see it. And then Shea was sitting, well, I think it was for the dunk contest and that stuff. Did you see that that Oklahoma City Thunder leather jacket he had? I was so jealous. I could never wear it, could never pull it off. But everyone's talking about the Thunder's fashion choices, Ted. That's exactly where we want them to be.
I typed in Giddey fur coat, and it didn't show his. It showed all of the memes making fun of it.
But, hey, listen,
Bright blue. Is this the one I'm seeing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A blue fur. Got to have some confidence to rock that, man.
Dude, I think for him, it looks great. I would be laughed out of the arena if I wore something like that.
There's only one way to find out.
That guy can pull it off. That's pretty cool. The video I'm watching has it like in slow motion, you know. It's funny. That's awesome.
But yeah, a lot of thunder coming out of All-Star weekend. So the haters struggling. But my loser of the weekend, we got to figure this out, man. The Eric Bieniemy situation. What are we missing? Right. And I know, listen, there is a very clear disparity. There is a very clear disparity when it comes to white coaches and black coaches in the NFL. Right. That gets talked about a lot. But I just don't. This makes no sense. This is a guy that is now a 2-time Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator who is now leaving Kansas City to take an OC job with the Commanders. Right. And it's not like Ron Rivera has has a ton of job security right now. It's almost like a make or break season for him in 2023. So how is this guy not a head coach? And I know he's getting the assistant head coach title there in Washington, but this isn't a promotion. Like I just don't understand how Eric Bieniemy is still an offensive coordinator. Like what am I missing, man?
I have no idea.
It makes no sense.
Because it doesn't make sense, but the fact that it doesn't make sense kind of makes it make sense. Because, and I don't know what it is, but there's something there. There has to be something there. Because it's not like he's getting passed over, or it's not like there are black head coaches that are getting jobs out there. And if we're saying that he's the most qualified with what he's done with the offense at Kansas City, then it wouldn't make any sense for anyone to get that spot over him, right? Does that make sense? Like, I just don't. There has to be something there.
He has been, and I saw this from Roger Sherman, he has been interviewed 16 times by 15 teams. I get that it's Andy Reid's offense, right? And he's running the show. I get that. But Bieniemy is way more qualified in my mind and proven compared to some of these coaches that just got jobs and have been getting jobs. I just don't understand. That's there has to be something.
Has to be something. And I don't know what that something is.
It has to be more. And I know, like, there's got to be. Is it something in his background? Like, I don't understand.
I don't need. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. There's a reason. Either he's got like a really bad reputation in the industry, or there's some skeleton in the closet or something there. Like, I don't, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, this is exactly how the league works. If there's a team that has a ton of success, like, you hire that coordinator. That's how it's done. And that's how we've seen it be done. I mean,
and we've seen guys, whether offense coordinator or defense coordinators for Andy Reid, get head jobs. Like, we saw it. And Matt Nagy's back there, and I assume he's going to be the next OC now for the Chiefs. But Matt Nagy got his chance in Chicago. Doug Peterson has gotten multiple chances. He's an Andy Reid guy. Like, the only difference I can think is those guys are white. So that's where it seems like with what he's accomplished, like, his race should be irrelevant. Right. And I know that
well, yeah.
I know we're living in the
know.
real world here, but it's
I'm
just like it makes no sense.
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if that was the like what the actual motive is. Like I can't. Whenever he's interviewed at 15 places, he's interviewed 16 times. Like I just like if he interviewed one place or 3 places, I could buy it. But 16 times, like he's interviewed 16 times, but for some reason, like he's the guy that can't get the job because of his I can't buy that.
All I know is he's leaving arguably the most talented quarterback ever in Patrick Mahomes. And he's leaving Andy Reid, one of the brightest offensive minds we've seen in football, to go be the offensive coordinator for Ron Rivera, who may lose his job next year. And their plan is to start Sam Howell at quarterback.
Why is he making that move?
I don't know. That's why everything about this is like makes no sense to me. Especially you look at their offense, they're going to start Sam Howell. The offensive line is not good. They got to rebuild there. They got some dudes at wide receiver. Scary Terry is that guy's a stud. Dotson's a stud, but it's just nothing about this adds up to me. Like, and you can say, hey, well, the NFL, they just not a lot of black head coaches get hired. But this is like out of all the black coordinators in the league, I mean, this is the guy that should be hired.
That's what I'm saying. Like DeMeco Ryans walks in and gets a job like that in Houston with a ton of fanfare, like everyone is on board. Like, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that it happens enough, but it does happen. And if it was going to happen, you think that the guy that has the credential list of Eric Bieniemy, like, that's why I'm saying like there has to be something else. Like that's I don't know.
I think when you look
they've been talking about this with him for 5 years now.
Yeah.
And like if that's like the open ongoing narrative, like you would think that it wouldn't continue to happen just to this one guy. And I'm not saying it's just to this one guy, but I don't know.
It's one of the more confusing things.
Yes.
Like when you think about the coaching carousel in the NFL, like Urban Meyer got hired in Jacksonville to be a head coach. And meanwhile, Eric Bieniemy is having to leave Kansas City, I guess, to go prove himself in Washington, that he can do it without Mahomes, without Andy Reid. Like, that's got to be his line of thinking here. Is it like, hey, I got to get away from Andy Reid because apparently no one thinks I can be a head coach because he's the one that's calling the plays.
And Andy Reid is like his biggest like supporter. He gets asked about it all the time, and that's why I'm saying that I feel like there's got to be something there because there's too many people in his corner. There's too much conversation about it. He's interviewed too many times. There's got to be something there. I don't know. Perhaps not. It's a shock.
I've heard him speak publicly. Guy sounds really good. Guy can really talk ball. I don't know. I've talked to guys that have played for him in Kansas City. They all really like him. Attention to detail. Like I don't know, man. It's one of the most confusing things in the last 5. Like it may be the most confusing thing when you talk about the coaching carousel in the NFL the last 5 years. Well, that Cliff Kingsbury got a head job after failing at Texas Tech. That was something. Meanwhile, Bieniemy's just it's truly perplexing. I don't know.
But Kingsbury won 6 games with Mahomes at Tech.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Eric Bieniemy goes to Washington and crushes it and gets a head job so that
It may get
this
that job.
this madness can end.
He may get that job, but I don't know. Is that the one he wants?
Yeah, and that's another thing. You're leaving one of the most stable and like well-respected organizations for Washington. Don't forget Dan Snyder. I know he's taken a step back, right? Is it his wife or his daughter? One of them is running the team and is kind of like the face now, but it has been dysfunctional for years. And Bieniemy said, "Yeah, I'll take that. That's the one I want. Give me Sam Howell." What?
Don't know.
It makes no sense.
Wish I had a any theory. I was going to say a better theory. I don't have a theory at all. I don't make of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it. Yeah.